Everyone, welcome to another edition of AttractWell Office Hours. I'm Coach Ashley. Today we are joined by founders of AttractWell, Greg and Amanda Kilwine. Hey guys.
Hey everybody.
We're really excited to have you here today. We are doing a training on branding your business this week, and we also have several member work reviews that we'll be doing today as well. As you're coming in, let us know where you're coming in from. We're always excited to know where you are in the world and to learn more about your business and how we can help you grow. So before we get into our slides today and our training on branding, I wanted to share a quick update with you guys that Greg has put into place in our system. And this pertains to how you can track your effectiveness with metrics on your campaigns. So you can know like how you can know what email is sending better, test your headlines, all that kind of good stuff. So Greg, can you show us that?
Yeah, certainly happy to. Can you give me, I think I need the screen sharing permission.
I keep doing this. There we go.
Awesome. All right. Okay, share out my screen here. Yeah, so this is an exciting addition to the campaign statistics. Okay, there it is. Sharing now. This allows you to see effectively like what messages in a campaign are working better than others, and kind of see their open and delivery statistics. So previously this has been available for broadcast messages under messages here, but under campaigns, if you click on this in the menu, then you'll be presented with a list. And I'm just going to pull up I think there was one I saw here earlier that had some decent stats. If you click on stats next to whatever campaign that you want to, what it'll do is pull up numbers for that with each message that's in that campaign. So previously you had to like go and look at each contact that was in there and kind of look in their past actions and see the open or click, but there was really no way to see the aggregate overall, who's opened it, who's clicked it, total clicks, percentage opens and all that. So you can see which, for example, like the open rates, you can probably see here at a glance, like which ones are a little bit more effective than the others in terms of looking at the numbers. And these are clickable too. So you can click on opens or click on clicks, and those will, that'll pop up in a new window and it'll show you exactly who opened or who clicked that specific message over the life of the campaign. So like if you've run this thing for, a year or something, it'll show you all of that data over the course of that year, or however it is, since the beginning of the campaign that you have there. So yeah, it's a really great way, like if your open rate is higher or lower on some than the others, then maybe, a subject line could use some tweaking to see if, there's some way to get people to engage more and to open it more. If you have, if you send out an email with no links in it, for example, like maybe you won't see any clicks and maybe you'd want to include a link or something. So anyway, it just gives you some data and some insight into that. So it allows you to fine tune your messages essentially. This is this has been available to on the broadcast messages, but now it's available in statistics, which is an awesome addition. So cool. Hope you like it.
Awesome. Definitely excited to have that. It's such a great way to really know what's working right now in your business. So excited to see you guys coming on. I am going to turn off my video. If you guys could do the same, we're going to go into some slides here. We're going to do some training. How many of you guys, just out of curiosity, have an existing brand, visual brand in place for your business? Maybe just a quick show of hands if you're here today. Do you have established visual branding? Excited to see and know more about that. Maybe we can even work together on this today, time permitting. Today, we're going to talk about how to brand your coaching or consulting business. This is really true about any business. If you're coaching, you're consulting, you're a network marketer, you're a practitioner, at the end of the day, we have got to streamline how you show up online so that you are consistent across all channels. That's what branding is. So today we're going to go into some branding basics. I do have a brand guideline and brand kit template for you, and we'll show you how you can get started with branding your AttractWell system. We'll also do some live coaching on branding and lead generation strategies with live help and Q&A. So leave us a comment. Tell us in the chat, what kind of business do you have? What do you do? Who do you serve? And we're really excited to learn more about you. If you're here today with questions, if you're working on something in your business right now and you need our support, please leave a message in our Q&A so that we can make sure we address those. Sometimes the chat can get a little crazy. So if you want to work together live on a future call, we do have 2 people signed up for this today. Whether you are able to be here live or not, you can go to attractwell.com/work review, and we can look through your work, or I can look through your work in your absence, and you can watch this recording later. So if you didn't know, if you don't know us yet, our members at AttractWell save many hundreds of dollars a month when they switch from sites like WordPress, Squarespace, Kajabi, and other platforms, because AttractWell has everything that a digital brand needs to get found, convert leads, serve clients, and scale. Building a brand online with the ability to generate leads used to be really expensive and complicated. And whether you're looking to attract new leads or automate your business, launch courses or programs, or just serve your clients better, you can get everything you need that you would have paid thousands of dollars for elsewhere, all under one roof with us at AttractWell. Now you can get started for $1 today at attractwell.com. You could also get on this list and join us here on one of these live calls. It's attractwell.com/office hours. Even if you aren't working with us yet and you're just trying to figure out what your next move is, you'll often find a lot of great insights and even templates like the one we're sharing today that you can put to use in your Canva account. So I want to just start off, and I'm curious, you guys. I need to swap out of my view here so I can actually open up our chat and our Q&A. All right, let me get back into this. Okay, so let me ask you guys a question. What do you think when you think of the world's most iconic brand? What comes to mind for you? Let me know in the chat. Curious if we're all going to have the same answer. Suzanne says Apple. I think that's a very easy to identify brand that would be probably the most iconic in the world, as we are saying, as we're sitting here today. Coca-Cola, that's another big one for sure. These are world renowned. Everybody knows what these things are. Everybody knows Coca-Cola. You can go into the far reaches of the Amazon and, where you've got folks who are still living in isolation from more modern society, and they know what Coca-Cola is, right? Apple, Nike, Coca-Cola, right? All right. So these are iconic brands. So beyond its product, so thinking about these brands, what thoughts or feelings come to mind for you when you think about Apple or Coke or Nike? Let me know what those thoughts or feelings are, and then tell me what the brand is that you're referring to. Beyond the product, right? Nike shoes, Coke's a drink, Apple's tech. What kind of feelings do you have? Like, what kind of thoughts do you have, right? Because what brands do is subliminal, right? It's a subliminal marketing strategy. There's a lot of overt, regular marketing strategies, right? Like branding is literally stamping a logo onto a thing, right? Like you brand cattle. But what we're doing with brands is stamping into the minds of the people that we're in front of what we want them to think and feel about what we do. So innovative, ahead of the curve. I love it. Connection, gathering, self-success, and reaching goals. Right. Guys, if you ever think of Volvo, the car brand Volvo, the Swedish car brand, safety is what they want stamped into your brain, and it works, doesn't it? Right. All right. So did you know that you have a brand? Have you ever thought about your own brand, a personal brand? Do you ever think of yourself that way? It's not the way that most of us necessarily think about ourselves naturally, but it is a way that I want to encourage you to start thinking about yourself, even if your business has a brand name outside of your name. At the end of the day, in a service-based business, you, the one providing the service, are the face of the brand, right? So your brand is a set of ideas, perceptions, and emotions that are maintained by others that conveys what it means to buy from you, work with you, or associate with you. You have a brand. And in the age of social media, everybody does. And this means that you have power, the same kind of power Apple, Nike, Coca-Cola have to attract and inspire people to action that you want to have in your business, that you want to have working with you, following you, just like these household names that we've been talking about. So you've already got a brand, and you're showing up with your brand on social platforms, your website, if you have it set up, we'll talk about that today, any printed materials that you have, and then basically wherever you show up. You show up in person, your style, that's a stamp of your brand. How you wear your hair, that's a stamp of your brand. How you communicate with people, how you make them feel, these are all parts of your brand. So the pillars of branding, and this is where we want to start, kind of taking note of who we are, how we show up, and how we want to do this more strategically to be more effective. The first is consistency. And consistency is what makes you recognizable. This is the stamping of the logo, right? This is the showing up in the same places. It's easy for the human brain to recognize what it can remember, what has been repeatedly put in front of it. So consistency is how we're able to brand ourselves as easily and readily recognizable to the people that we want to recognize us. So we show up with consistency with our message, our visual elements, which we'll get into today, and then with congruency. Now, if we are achieving this pillar of branding successfully, congruency is going to establish a level of trust. Because if everything that we do is always the same every time, we are perceived as reliable. People are more likely to want to buy from us, right? So this impacts our message, our visual, and the associations that we make. So this might mean the things that we promote if they are outside of what we personally provide as a service, right? If you're an affiliate marketer, a network marketer, and so on. It also has to do with our professional associations. Who are we connecting with? Who is a part of our circle, right? So let's break these down a little bit further with consistency and message. We want to ask ourselves what the values are that we stand on. And we want to endeavor to embody those values in everything that we do. So we need to be clear about what we're about. And that allows people to see us for what we want to be seen as. We want people to seek us out as being a pillar of those values, right? And we do this by regularly producing relevant content that is congruent with those values, right? If we're showing up consistently, right? So let's just say, for instance, if you create a YouTube video super sporadically, maybe you did one a year ago and another one 2 months ago and another one 2 days ago, that's not consistent, right? And so people aren't going to really recognize and see that repetition because you've got to be consistent to really show up, right? There's probably a lot of other examples that we could chase here. But consistency also gets into the visual. And again, this is a part of what we'll be addressing in detail today, is starting with visual. We want to pick a font or a couple of fonts and a set of colors that we use everywhere. So if you notice with AttractWell, if you look at the font face in these slides that I'm sharing with you and that I do every week, they're the same font face that you'll find on the homepage of our website. This logo, this little bullseye, the color of it, these are things you're going to see repeated everywhere you see AttractWell, right? This is going to happen in your images, email headers, on your website. If you do slides on videos like I'm doing right now, you would do that as well. And then, of course, if you're making a content series like we have here for office hours, we might mix it up a little bit. But it's still going to be consistent every time we show up. So if you look on our YouTube channel, our thumbnails are the same. So when we send an email out to our list that says, hey, we've got a new training, without even reading the whole message, if they see the image enough, they're going to associate that image with this office hours series that we're running, right? All right, now let's talk about congruency. Congruency is on message first. We want to be clear about what we're about and stay on topic with what we're clear about. So what you want to do is think big before you do stuff, before you say something, before it comes out of your mouth, before it goes on video, before you write it. Would the embodiment of success that I want and that I want to be perceived as say or post or share this particular thing, right? This is where if you've ever worked with anyone in public relations, this is a big thing. You want to be on message with your brand. You can throw people off, give people the wrong idea, and send people running if we aren't showing up congruently with our message. If you're showing up and you're consistently talking about yoga, and then next week you show up with a post about cryptocurrency, you're going to run some people away. They're going to say, what is this? This is not congruent. This is not what I signed up for, right? So we want to make sure we're regularly consistently producing congruent content. Now, congruency with visual is going to mean keeping the components of our brand congruent and being aware of who we are, right? So in terms of who we are and how we come across, you have different qualities about who you are and how you show up than the person next to you or another person that might work with clients similarly to you. But there is a different thing that you bring to the table. Lean into that, but keep everything that you're doing congruent. Right? So if your color palette that you've been using is mostly pastel, then you're probably not going to want to come out of left field with a bunch of neon colors tomorrow because people are going to wonder what the heck is going on, right? All right, so let's talk about branding your business and getting this started. What we're going to want to do is create a simple logo. This can be your name. That's most ideal, especially if you are the person who is providing the service. Creating a simple logo with your name. Add that logo to all of your social images. Make it a watermark for your social images. Stamp it. You're stamping it everywhere. If you create downloads, PDFs, put it there. Put it on your content. And then for your logo and then for everything else that you do, you want to pick 1 to 2 fonts and a palette of brand colors. And you're going to add those to Canva, and I'll show you what that looks like in a moment. And then we're able to add those to your AttractWell system as well. Then you should absolutely go and schedule a photo shoot. How many of you guys have actually gone and had your pictures taken for your brand? Like have a professional photo shoot. It's so much fun. You should do it. You should absolutely go and do it. And don't just, take a picture with your arms crossed, like all lawyerly looking, because, you're here right now. You're not here to practice law. What I encourage you to do is get some candid pictures, get some pictures that show you in your element. I know that there is a tradition of having these sort of polished pictures in our sort of corporate professional looking thing. What people are looking for from someone like you is someone that they can relate to. This is why we love social media so much. It lifts the curtain back and we can see what's really happening in people's lives. So have a photo shoot, but have some fun with it. All right, now commit to creating congruent content consistently. Say that 5 times fast. I want to encourage you to create a blog post at least once a month, a YouTube video at least once a month. Try to do this stuff once a week. I really, really want to encourage you to create content. And when I mean create content, I don't mean post on social media. These are not the same thing. Yes, social content is a sort of subset of content, but content that gets you found is the stuff that Google can find. And Google can find blog posts and Google can find YouTube videos. So I want to encourage you to start creating content for your people because it's your message and you showing up regularly with the message that you have for them that is going to get people paying attention, coming to your website, clicking on what you have to offer, getting on your calendar, and ultimately becoming your client. All right. And then so when you're creating content, create social sharing images. And I have a template for you to get that done today, as well as blog featured images so that when you're sharing your blog on social, this shows up appropriately and you've got a nice congruent brand on your site when people are scrolling through your blog posts. You could also create branded thumbnails for your YouTube videos using all of the same tools. And if you're using Canva, like I'll be showing you today, it's really easy to turn one thing into another with some simple formatting. Now, let me ask you guys this. Let me know in the chat. Do you have branding established for your business? And what does that look like? Do you have a logo, colors, fonts? Do you have a favicon for your website? Like, what is the extent of branding that you have in place for your site currently and for your business? Curious to know. All right, so let's get into some basics of visual branding. And these are the things I'm going to show you how to do today. We've got colors and fonts. We've got logos. We've got 2 different ways to have our logos set up. I recommend having a mix of both, one that is horizontal in alignment and then one that is, kind of stacked or square in its resolution. We'll also put a favicon together. Do you guys know what a favicon is? Anybody who gets a gold star today? Do you know what a favicon is? We're going to learn how to make those today. That is that neat little thing, when you're in a browser and you can actually see like a tiny little image in the tabs. That's what it is. Yes, that's right, Suzanne, gold star, small logo. And your business should have one. If you have a website, you should have a favicon on your website. Social sharing images, again, just to make things congruent everywhere you share. So here's what you'll need to get this done. Of course, you'll need your AttractWell system. You'll also need Canva and 1 to 2 non-script fonts. Now, I highly recommend that you go to Google for this. So if you go to fonts.google.com, this is a really easy way to plug in free open source fonts that you don't have to like go buy to use. You can, of course, also go to other sites where you can purchase fonts for use as well. Non-script fonts are really important for your headlines and the body of your work on your site. You could certainly have a pretty scripty font like this one down here that says office hours in the bottom right of the screen, but that's going to be more for designy stuff or for, signing off with your signature. Then we also want to grab some images that inspire you, or if you already have a color palette, you're going to want to grab that. And then the templates, which I've already made for you. You received those in your email today that sent you this link to get on this call. And then of course, if you're here as watching the replay, you'll find this in the description. So what we're going to make today are our brand guideline, our social sharing and blog featured image, our square logos in favicon, and our horizontal logos and signature. Now, just a quick caveat, I'm not going to walk through every single detail of all of this, but I'm going to show you how you can go and take off running with this stuff after our call here today. So let's go check them out and then learn how to plug them into your AttractWell site. And then we'll get into some coaching and live help. So what I'm going to do here, you guys, I'm going to turn video back on. Let's see if we have any questions here. Carrie says, kind of, but I think that your template will make sure I have everything. Yes, this is going to be the basics of getting started. So on your AttractWell site, you want to have colors set up so that, things are colored the way you want them to. You want to have fonts so that your fonts are congruent across everything that you do. And then any logos or images that you plan to use, we're going to want to have those. So we do have a Canva button, so in AttractWell, whenever you are creating things. But the reason why I've given you guys these templates today is that when you're creating something for use in AttractWell using that button, you don't always necessarily know what the size of the thing is that you need to make. So this is your cheat code. Everything that I've put together for you in these in this giveaway is something they'll plug with the brand guideline as an exception, because that's like a PDF that you print out for yourself or give it to a graphic designer. But everything plugs straight into your AttractWell account and is already sized up perfectly. So let's take a look real quick at the if I could open it, I want to show it to you guys. I'm going to show you the PDF and then I'm going to show you how to use this stuff in Canva with like a screen share. Again, if I could open it, it's such a weird tech day for me. Okay, I'm going to open up AttractWell and then I'm going to go get like a dummy account. And then I'm coming back and I'm showing you guys my screen. There we go. Okay. Great big screen right here. Okay. So I want to show you guys first, if you have your branding basics that I've handed out to you guys here today, you're going to have all of these templates. You can click on any of these images or on these titles to actually open up in Canva the templates that you want to use. So let's go ahead and start with this one. If you don't have your brand established yet, this is a good place to start. So what you're going to want to do, this has all the things that you want. So it's about 6 colors that you can pick out. You can add any patterns or visual elements that you want to use. You can add whatever fonts that you'd like to use, and then you pop your logos in here. So this isn't going to be a full-on Canva training. There's lots of great free training on Canva that's like just generally out there in the world. Maybe we'll do another dedicated one at some point in the future. If you're interested, let us know. But basically what you're going to do is from wherever you got your color palette, you're going to be adding those colors here. So you're going to set all of this up. I'll show you really quick. If you Google create Canva palette from image, they actually have, there we go, color palette generator. You can actually upload an image that you love and it will actually give you some colors that you can start using in a palette if you're completely unclear on what it is that you want to do with your branding and your colors and everything. So, so you're going to want to set that up, and it's just a matter of clicking the color and then selecting the colors that you want to use, right? Now, I already have these set up in several brand kits. My husband actually uses this for his podcast, so I'm actually selecting some of those things here. But once you have your brand guidelines set up and you've got everything added here, you're going to go over to Home in Canva. And this is where you can actually go to your brand kit, which is down here under Tools. And down here under Brand Kit, this is where you can add your brand logos. You can add any color palettes that you're using. Maybe you have one, maybe you have multiple, but then importantly, you're also going to be adding in your fonts. Now, if you have these preset in Canva, then that makes the rest of your work incredibly easy. So let me show you what that looks like. If you've got your brand kit set up, then you're able to go and create this. Let's start with the logos. So we open this up, and this is our stacked logo. This is something that could be used as a watermark or stamp on your social media images. It's something that could be put at the top corner of a handout or something like that. Basically, what you're going to do is make sure that the fonts selected that you like are here. And then you're just going to swap it out with your name or your business name, right? So if this is Jane Jones, we're going to say Jane Jones. We're going to probably reposition these just a little bit, play around with it until it looks like you like it to look, and then make it basically take up as much space on this document as possible. And then you're going to download it, and then you're going to use it. Obviously, depending on how you want to use it, you might want to make it a transparent background. If you are creating a logo that is going to live in the top left corner of your AttractWell site, I do recommend that that is a transparent background image for what it's worth. You also have other cool things to play around with in here. So if you want to get a branded picture of your face with your logo underneath it, this is a frame where you can go to your uploads, and here's a picture of my dog. Just pop that right in there. You just drag a picture of you in there. He's super cute. So anyway, what you want to do is get several different iterations of your logo together. This one does have a few. You don't have to use all of them. Just pick the one that you like. And then finally, at the very bottom, we have what we will use as our favicon. So this is just going to be an image. You could use your initials here if you wanted to. Highly recommend, again, you create a favicon, make it a transparent background image. All right, let's take a look real quick as well at our horizontal logos and signature. This is the logo file that you're going to want to use for your site logo, for your web page logo. So if you go to your AttractWell site, that's going to be like up here in the left-hand corner. That's what we're looking for. So make this a horizontal background. Of course, format it however you like. If you want some more inspiration for text, all you have to do is click text, and you can scroll through in Canva and see lots of different text combinations that you can use for inspiration. So if you don't like what's here, you could definitely play around with that. Now, this again is going to be just like the square one. You just play around with it till it looks like you like it. Make sure in this and the square one, you're using the same fonts, right? Because that's our congruency that we're looking for, that consistent showing up with the same stuff. So you can brand your URL, but then finally, the last thing that I put here is a signature. Sometimes we like to have an image signature. And so you can use like a nice little scripty font, save it as a transparent background, and then you can put that into your signature, your main signature on your AttractWell site. Now, finally, once you do have a logo, your colors, fonts, and everything set up, you want to start creating social sharing images. Now, these are used for your website pages, so your homepage, maybe lead magnets that you offer, as well as on your blog. And these are the same type of image. So this way, if you're using this, it's 1200 by 630. If you're sharing a blog post on Facebook, for instance, that image is going, whatever image you have here is going to populate, and it's going to give people more of a reason to click, and it's just going to look nicer, more polished, more branded, right? So this template here is specifically for a a social sharing image just for your site. So for your homepage, for instance, you could use this, drag a picture of you onto the circle, make sure that the colors are in keeping with your palette. And then of course you can save this. This would not be a transparent background. And this is going to get added to the social sharing image area on your pages. If you wanted to create a blog post featured image, you could use the same file, just create a new page. I would go over to templates and then maybe if we really like this one, we can click that and then swap out the text here, change this to your blog post title, right? And then add your logo, change these to your colors and so on. And now you've got an image that you can use for your blog. So that is sort of a rundown of what all of these different things are. You do want to be using them, but let's go ahead and look at what it means to set these up inside of your account. All right, so from our dashboard, the very first place that we want to go is down to colors and fonts. So when we click that, you can see you've got all of your brand colors here. One of the things that you're going to want to do is take your brand kit. So that would be wherever I put that. I still have it open, I can't see anything with this thing in my way. So if you've got your brand guideline, let me just go back and find that. So if you've got your brand guideline and it's complete and it's got the colors, you're going to download it and then you'll be able to grab these colors and then connect them over here to these colors, right? So you would just simply click the color on I'm on a Mac for what it's worth, so it's going to look different for you than it does for me. But then you could go and you can actually grab the color directly from wherever it is, and you're able to set that up. So you do that for your colors. You can also, if you are using the Google fonts, it's going to be pretty easy to find your Google fonts from this list here. You pick whichever your headline font is, if you want it uppercase, bold, whatever, and then your body text font that you have put into your brand guideline. You can also go through and edit the colors of your buttons to match those that are in your brand guideline. Again, going and clicking and selecting the different colors that you want to use. All right. So once we've got that done, one of the things that we do want to make sure that we check out is if you don't have the fonts that you want here, you're going to want to go over here to this customize my site page where you can go, which is the next thing we want to do anyway. But if we go down here to fonts, this is where we can actually go and select one of the many fonts that are available from Google. And then there's also instructions in our support here on how you can set up your own custom fonts if they aren't Google fonts. Now, what we're going to do next is actually upload our brand logos. So here you can actually see I have several of these in here already. So this is the Jane logo that was created in Canva. It's got a transparent background. The horizontal one is the one that you want to use right here, just because of the way that the site looks once it's published. And then we want a favicon. And that is the square image. So in this case, we used her initials with a cute little leaf. You're going to upload that here. What else do we have? Yeah, so the final thing that we want to do is on our pages. So like for her homepage, we do want to go in and make sure that we have a social sharing image set up here. So if this is her homepage, we go to settings, it's right here. This sharing image is where we're going to be uploading this social sharing image that we create. Now, for your homepage, use something similar to the one that's in the template that's been provided to you here today. For other pages on your website that you know that you might be sharing on social, just copy that page and create a different image in Canva to connect in this section on that page. And don't forget to give it a nice little sharing description that's going to populate when you share. I guess I will do one more thing that these relate to here today on your site. It's pretty simple getting this set up. If you're going to blog, if you're blogging, then you want to use featured images because, and this actually, if we go over here and look at Jane's site, you can see the logo shows up here on the top left. And then if we go to her blog, you can see where her featured images are. Now in Jane's account here with these examples, I don't know that we necessarily have congruence happening because this one does not have an image on it. And this one is just, it's all over the place. It's got lots of stuff. So what you want to do, and let me show you an example of one of the best content creators on our site that I love to point to. This is Katinka. She's actually going to be joining us in early December to do a training. And she brands her blog with that same template that I shared with you guys today. So you can actually see what a branded blog can look like. She's got her colors set up. So they're all very congruent. And then the types of images that she is sharing for all of her content is super, super congruent. And you can see again, you know, there's her homepage with her logo, which is really cool. And this is all Canva, you guys. So you can get started with the things that I've shared with you today. And that'll get you the basic stuff done so that you're able to have your colors, your fonts. And if this went a little fast for you, we do have help articles for all of these topics. So you can actually read it and go through this at your pace. But you do have everything that you need now with that template to get the basic branding set up. And then in some future trainings, we can definitely get into more detail on branding content and getting a little more advanced with some of the things that we do, maybe branding home pages and, you know, images and things like that for your site. But this is the bare bones basics for everyone to get started. So I'm excited to hear if you guys have any questions. And, you know, we're certainly here to help if you have anything that you need help with here today. Okay, so Carrie, starting with your question in the Q&A, should you have a different social sharing image for a different page? So home is different from every other page. It's going to depend, right? So I think that well, it depends on how you're using it, right? So if your home page is whatever social sharing image you use for your homepage could theoretically be used for every other page on your site. So maybe your homepage and your about page have the same social sharing image, but you would have the social sharing text be a little bit different because your homepage and your about page have a little bit of something different going on. However, if you're creating a landing page, right? If there's a funnel that you are offering people entry into and you're sharing that on social, you don't just want the thing that populates to be, this is me, this is my website, but you want it to be, here's a free thing. If you are this, that, or the other, you want this, right? And so what I like to do when we have social sharing images for funnels is to actually maybe use an image that's representative of the thing that's being given away. Have that in the social sharing image, and then have, you know, get the free guide or something like that, whatever part of the call to action in the image itself, so that that really shows up and is amplified when you're sharing that link on social. And it's not just on social, for what it's worth. Like if you share it in a text message, that kind of thing is going to populate. So the social sharing image isn't just a social media thing. It's just generally a good thing to have. And I would, like, if it's going to be considerably different from the thing before it, then I would make a different one. But just copy an existing one and change pieces of it so you aren't reinventing the wheel every single time you need to make something. And that's going to be true for all of these files in Canva, these templates that I've given to you guys today. These are things that you can continue using in perpetuity. So if you need to make a social sharing image, then you're just going to add a new page in that Canva document from the one that you made previously. Maybe copy the first one and then change the second one and then keep it there. Just download that second page of the Canva document as your image, and then you can go back and repeat. Same for blog posts. If you are batch creating blog posts, then you could, I would replicate that and then make a blog post image template, and then just keep duplicating that and making shifts to it. Of course, giving the new image the name of the new blog post and that kind of thing. Okay, so if you guys don't have any other questions, I do want to get into our reviews today as promised. Cheryl, are you here with us? I don't see you. Okay, I have two reviews and I don't think that either of you were able to join us live. So I do want to go ahead and just go over really quick for the recording for Cheryl as well as for Jessica, the review information that they're looking for. So let me do some housekeeping here on my browser with my million tabs open, and then we can get to work on this. And if you guys have questions, like while we're here and we have time today about implementing any of the stuff that we're talking about, feel free to ask away and we can take a few minutes to address that. Okay, so I have here, and I need to share this. If I can find it. I have so much on my screen. Okay. Which one of these is it? Sorry, guys. Just not wanting to cooperate with me today. Okay, here we go. So Cheryl had a question, and that was, let me see, let me come back over here. All right, so she wants to know, she says she struggles with setting up the flow between emails, landing page, campaigns, etc. And she is looking for leads for growing her oils business. So unlock the latest research on oils in your immune system. Winter is coming and I would like to know the latest. Okay, so Cheryl, what I would do here is, this is actually an example of formatting and how we can actually shift formatting a little bit to have meaning be sort of digested differently. So what I would do is have the heading be this, and then this I would change to normal, right? So normal is just changing it from the heading text to that smaller normal text. And I might even italicize it, because you know, when you're reading a book and you've got like normal text and the author is speaking, but then they're saying what someone else is saying, like somebody, so-and-so said this, and they might italicize it. That's kind of what you want to the feel that you want happening here, right? So you're saying unlock the latest research on oils in your immune system. And what we're trying to basically imply is that they're saying, you reader are saying, yes, winter's coming and I'd like to know what the latest research says, right? So that's that formatting piece I would definitely suggest here. Now, another thing that I would consider doing is, let me see. Oh, I love how you've included your dog, Cheryl. Okay. So contact me to do a short quiz on evaluating how your body system. Okay, so here's actually what I would suggest you do. Whatever this quiz is for your body systems, I want you to offer that here. So take the quiz is going to be the thing that you're offering. And then what do they get from taking the quiz? Is the quiz going to give them clarity on how to finally feel better? Then say that, right? And then you could use an image here that is a bit more representative of what they might feel like after taking the quiz and learning the answers to what's on the quiz. So that's actually what I would do on a landing page like this, just to tie this together. So you say, head over to my website, put in your name and email, and we're going to set up a time. I'm going to get you set up with a quiz. And that quiz is going to get you everything that you need to start feeling better, right? It's going to show you what you need to do next. So I would make the thing that you're offering right here, the quiz. Okay. And then in terms of what happens next, this is the landing page. The campaign that you have attached to this should either send them the link to take the quiz, or if it's a thing that you need to facilitate directly, you're going to want to say in the campaign email that sends to them, hit reply now and tell me this, right? So you're just going to tell them what to do next, either give them the thing or tell them here's what our next step is. And that's all the campaign needs to do. If you have a confirmation page, that's a nice thing to send this to after the fact, or just use like a confirmation pop-up message, which is something that you can do in landing pages. And I think that's really it. That is the flow of this. And so since what you're actually offering is, let's do a short quiz on how to evaluate your body system areas and discover what you can do to improve wellness, offer that up here. And then logically, the next thing that you do is just an email that goes out that says, hey, let's get you set up with your quiz. And so now it's not, it's not nebulous when it's logical, right? It's not confusing when we know, okay, well, they said I want a quiz. The email needs to give them the quiz, or it needs to tell them how they can do it, what they can do next. So thank you, Cheryl, for sending us this. And let me see, we have one more. And I know she wasn't able to come live, and I believe she just had an exciting launch this week. Let me go over and check out Jessica's site. So Jessica has the Artful Gathering, and she has a subscription service for parents and their children, which is really exciting. So here we go. There is the subscription. She's teaching an art class inside of a vault in AttractWell that people are subscribing to monthly, but they also, here we go, subscription boxes. Beautiful. Hands-on activities from a teacher you can trust, trying to raise your family with meaningful experiences, feeling like life is too busy to make that happen. Jessica, this is good copy. You want your kids to know the joy of creativity without a terrible mess or wasted art supplies. Your home can foster a healthy dose of fun and creativity. Oh, I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Oh, this is so good. Oh, this is good. Okay. So we say, yes, please. And they put in their shipping address. Okay, this is where I get a little bit confused. So one thing, Jessica, I would say is I would shrink this text a bit. This is very large, and this is what it looks like on mobile. And it's very, very, very big. So I would take the text down 30 to 40%. And that way we can kind of flow down. You are doing a great job with alternating the colors, though. It is keeping people engaged. It is definitely drawing the eye further. Now, what I would recommend that you do, and I would get this shrunk down just a little bit as well, and see if you could maybe get this a little closer to here, so that it's clearer. Like these are we're checking all of these boxes for this thing. All right, these are nice. So when we say which option works best for your family, then what we want to do is actually give them a place to click for these different options. Because what you have on this page right now is I believe what you would be using to give them an option to go and to give you their mailing address so that you can send them their stuff. But we want to send them to the payment link from this page. So I know in your case, you are using a single vault with the different payment options all in that one vault. So I would send them to a page that has this information after they've checked out, but just have all of these point to your vault checkout page. Have all of these be linked to your vault checkout page. And then once they're there, they're able to select one of these three things anyway. So that would be what I would recommend there. Just shrink things down just a little bit. And just, again, a cheat code, shrink your browser down or open the page up in your phone so you can kind of see what it looks like. And yeah, that's basically it. But this is good. Your copy is excellent. And it's such a cool idea what you're doing here. Very, very cool. Okay, let's see, making sense of, I think that's basically it. I'm really excited for your launch, and thank you so much for sharing this with us. Okay, quiz training would be great with a template. There's you can technically do kind of a quiz on our platform, but it would really be more of a you're the teacher and you're quizzing them and you get their responses and you use the custom forms on our custom pages for that. But that would be, I'd use the same kind of ideas using a like a wellness consult or a discovery call or something like that, where you can just ask them all of these questions. And then based on their answers, you get to give them answers on a call. It's a really great way to get people set up for a call. Okay, what else? What else? Thank you for being here today. Love all of the feedback, you guys. Awesome. Well, does anybody want to look over anything that you have or, any questions on any of the branding, the templates, getting things set up in your system? We're here to help you with that today. If so, if not, we will go on our way. And just a note, next week is Thanksgiving here in the US, so we will not be here live. But we welcome you to check out our recordings. We've got a growing body of recordings on our YouTube channel where we've got tons of training, and send us a message. If there's something that you would like to learn that you haven't seen covered yet, chances are we are just waiting to do it, waiting for you to say, hey, that's what I want to hear from you. And we look forward to getting that done. So I think that's it. Yes, thank you and happy Thanksgiving. We're grateful for you guys. I don't know, guys, anything else? Make sure I've got this. Thank you, Carrie. I think that's it.
Yeah, I think so.
Cool. All right. Well, thank you guys for being here. And again, won't see you next week, but we'll see you the week after. And yeah, I look forward to seeing you then. Have a great holiday, guys.
Bye.
Bye.